Two hands, one bar, and the human desire to rise above. A movement so simple, yet so brutally honest. The pull-up is a test that has humbled soldiers, athletes, and casual gym goers for well over a century. But its roots go deeper, far deeper than the gym mirrors and calloused palms we know today. This is the story of the pull-up. Yeah, it was funny because it was actually during COVID that I got super into pull-ups, and I know we want to forget that year, but looking back on it, it was a transformative time. There were two camps of people, I believe, the people that sort of stayed at home, played video games and drank and smoked, or the people that when we were allowed to go outside and exercise, and that year was particularly sunny. And I remember being obsessed with sort of getting outside and exercising. And for me, I think looking around the places where I lived, I was obsessed with finding goalposts or bars around that I could do some pull-ups, and it was quite hard to find, actually. There are not many outdoor gyms in the UK. I mean, it's a lot better now than it used to be, but yeah, going through that and trying to find out where all these pull-up bars were, and I sort of started my routine. Press ups and squats, then sit-ups, then pull-ups, and pull-ups had always been the most difficult and challenging part of the exercise routine, and that's where I really got the most amount of what do the kids call it, gains. That started and led to my obsession about wanting to find out about the pull-up. Who was the first person that did it, and where its history came from. So I obsessively sat down and sort of researched who or where the origins of the first pull-up happened, and my discovery was pretty interesting. Most people associate the pull-up with modern fitness culture. Going to the gym or a CrossFit class, maybe military assessments or school physical education. It feels like something designed, something codified. But when you look a little more closely, the movement itself is far older than any of those systems. There isn't a clear moment in history where pull-ups were invented. It doesn't have a single origin point or an identifiable creator. Instead, it seems to emerge gradually from patterns of movements that humans were already performing long before exercise became a formal concept. Suspending the body from an overhead surface and pulling upwards is a fairly intuitive mechanical action. Anthropologists and historians who look at early human movement patterns tend to focus on climbing, whether that's trees, uneven terrain, or natural obstacles. And it's difficult to separate those behaviours from what we now recognise as the basic mechanics of a pull-up. What changes over time isn't the movement itself, but the intention behind it. A movement that may have once been functional, a way of navigating the environment, slowly becomes something practiced deliberately. Eventually it becomes measurable, then it becomes a test. So rather than asking when the pull-up was invented, it's probably more accurate to ask when it became formalized, when it shifted from instinctive movement to structured training. That transition is where the story really begins. Before we carry on our story of a brief history of the pull-up, I'm here at my local gym because I want to find out how impactful and significant the pull-up has been in modern day culture. One of the questions I'm going to be asking the general public is, can they even do a pull-up? And if so, how many is the record? Okay, so we've got Faith here. Faith, how many pull-ups can you do in a row, usually full
13.
fitness? 13, okay, but you're not going to do that today?
No, I'm injured today, so I'm not doing full 13.
Okay, cool. Do you do pull-ups normally in your fitness regime? Do you like to do them? Do you do them every day?
Favourite exercise ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
I'll do it probably twice a week at the moment. I've come back down again since I got to where I wanted. I don't need to do it all the time.
Awesome.
But it's like my favourite thing. All my clients are on the road to
You make them do pull-ups? Yeah. Okay. And how long have you been doing pull-ups for?
Maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see how many we can do in a row. I know you can't do 13.
I'm injured.
Injured?
Yeah.
So let's see how many we can do. Here we go. 1, 2, nice technique. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can we get 2 more?
I don't want to burn my neck.
Okay, one more. 9. Oh, she's gonna go for it. Last one, go on. 10. Yes, excellent.
I would push, but I'm not pushing on
Well
that.
done, nice. So, guys, we got James here. James, hello.
Hello.
How many pull-ups can you do in a row, fresh?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm not feeling fresh at the moment, so I'd probably say you probably get 10 max out of me
10
today.
max today?
Yeah, on a fresh day, probably 20.
Okay. How long have you been doing pull-ups for?
Since I've been exercising, really. So I've been exercising probably over 20 years, so I've been incorporating pull-ups.
20 years training?
20 years of
wow.
pull-up.
How old are you now?
41.
Wow. Do you do pull-ups most weeks as well?
When they're incorporated in my training. So I mostly do kind of CrossFit training and then 45 training. So if they're incorporated in the sessions, then I'll do them. Otherwise, once every 2 weeks probably.
Okay, cool, perfect. All right, James is going to hop on the bar. See how many we can do in a row. Ready?
All right. Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice technique. Chin above the bar. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Thought you had only 10, 12, 13, 14. Let's
probably
go.
one more.
One more. Go on, James. 15. Excellent. Well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, so guys, we've got Wilf here. Wilf, hello.
Hello.
How many pull-ups can you do in a row fresh usually?
10, I reckon.
10 in a row. Okay, cool. How long have you been doing pull-ups for?
On and off probably for 5 or so years, but I'd say more recently, like 2 years probably.
And you're training to be a physiotherapist, right?
I am, yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay. All right, cool. Let's see how many Wilf can do. Maybe he can do more than 10.
We'll see. I don't think so.
Hop on the bar, mate. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice technique. 5. Better than my technique. 6, 7, 8, 9. I think you're going to get more than 10. Come on. 2 more. 11. Last one, buddy. 12. Yes. Let's go.
Oh.
Very nice. Well done.
That was hard.
Excellent. That was awesome, dude. Once we look at where this movement actually sits historically, it becomes a bit clearer why it stuck around. In the early 19th century, particularly in Germany, you had these outdoor gymnasiums, the Turnverein movement, where physical training wasn't really about aesthetics or performance in the way that we think about it today. It was tied to something broader: discipline, resilience, and national identity. Within those spaces you had horizontal bars, and climbing structures. People would be repeatedly pulling themselves upwards. Not an isolated exercise, but as part of a system. Around the same time in Sweden, physical education was being formalised in a slightly different way, more structured, more clinical, but still centred around controlled bodyweight movement. This would have been rope climbs, suspended drills, and variations of the same fundamental action. The pull is always there, even if it isn't named yet. And that's the interesting part. The movement exists long before the label does. As we move into the late 19th and early 20th century, things begin to standardise. Schools, militaries, institutions, they need simple ways to measure physical capability. Not equipment heavy, not subjective, something repeatable and something honest. The pull-up fits that almost perfectly. By the mid-20th century, it's everywhere. Playgrounds, training fields, physical education programs. For a lot of people, it becomes one of the first real benchmarks of strength. And that idea hasn't really changed. Even now, with all the machines, cables, and specialized equipment we have, the pull-up still sits slightly apart. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's accessible, but not everyone can do it. And because of that, it's earned its place in culture. You see it in the gym, like we just did. People testing themselves against it, whether they realize it or not. 1 rep, 3 reps, maybe none. And that moment where someone either gets their chin over the bar or falls short, it's very visible. There's no ambiguity in it. It doesn't need to be reinvented, it just needs to be attempted. And maybe that's why it's lasted all these years.
So here we are, back where it all started, with only 2 hands and 1 bar. The pull-up is an incredibly old exercise and a true test of strength. So next time you're on the bar, remember, it never lies.